This is the Wandering Mike.
Welcome everyone to the Wandering Mike. Today I'm here with Eric. Hey Eric, how you doing?
I'm doing really well, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. I'm looking forward to this conversation. I think gonna learn a lot of things I don't know too much about yet.
Yeah,
So, um, yeah, to get us started, if you just wanna tell us a little bit about yourself, Eric. What's your life, your journey been like? What do you do?
yeah, sure. It's nice to meet everyone. My name is Eric. I'm 31 years old, blessed to be living in beautiful Southern California. My main hobbies are chess, Muay Thai, reading, and meditation. I just got back from a 10-day Vipassana meditation retreat. That was a beautiful,
Oh,
transformative experience. I highly recommend it to everyone if that's interesting to you. One of the best things I've ever done. I believe in the power. So I believe that everyone is happiest when they're serving other people. And I also believe in the power of authenticity, meaning like, Mike, if you try to be me, you can't beat me at being me because I'm the number one me in the world. But if I try to be you, I can't beat you at being you because you're the number one you in the world. So if logically you're trying to serve as many people as possible, what's the only way to do this? And that's to follow your intellectual curiosity and your natural gifts that God gave you to build products, provide service, and provide value to society. And for me, this just so happened to be two particular apps. One is ShopX. That's a Web3 e-commerce platform, and we're tokenizing the world's products. And the second is Dating, and that's the world's first ever AI-powered matchmaking service. The logic behind ShopX is I wanted to live a nice, peaceful life. I found that to be more difficult if I felt the money system was corrupt. That led me to physical gold and physical silver as a solution. That led me to Bitcoin. And then ShopX is a way to incentivize e-commerce brands to incentivize their customers to enter the space. And Dating, I think that human relationships, like actual human relationships, are very important for overall human happiness. I think dating apps and social media have pushed that needle in the wrong direction. So the aim for that is to put users in the position to succeed by matching people based on personality and traits versus just straight physical attraction and shallow features. Happy to go into detail on any of those, or what are you thinking?
yeah. So, I would definitely say we're gonna get into details on both of the apps and basically what got you into the field in the first place. You already talked about it a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
But before we do that, actually, I am very interested in meditation. So since
Oh,
that just happened, if you just if we just want to talk about the retreat because I never did any retreat. How was that experience? That
oh,
sounded actually pretty cool.
I love talking about it. So it was a full 10-day Vipassana meditation retreat. And Vipassana is a specific method. So it's the method that the Buddha used to reach enlightenment. So it's a full 10 days of meditation in noble silence. So you're not talking with anyone. You're not looking at anyone. You just show up at the retreat center. Everything is taken care of. So you have your meditation hall, you have your room, you have a walking path, and you have a dining hall. So those are the only facilities you have access to. And the reason why it's so self-isolation is because you're doing like surgery on your subconscious. And let's say I do a meditation right now. Like let's say I do a 30-minute meditation. What do I normally do after that? I check my phone, check my emails, go back on the computer, reconnecting with
Right.
society. But if you don't have any of that, it's like one long continuous meditation. So the method itself, it's the way that the Buddha used to reach enlightenment. So you first, and there are plenty of ways to do meditation. Like I've sampled a bunch. And I think meditation is honestly one of the best things you can do. But this particular one, you focus the attention on the area between your nostril and like the top of your lip. You start to feel different sensations. And then after you get that down, you just scan your body back and forth over and over again, every inch. And what this does, extracts the traumas that you've stored throughout your whole life in the four different sensations. So it's somewhat of a spiritual purification process. So just think of your body like a magnet, or think of your body like a piece of metal. If you're just trying to send that metal to space, how do you purify it? You run it through magnets. The magnets extract the impurities, leaving the pure piece of metal. So you're just doing that over and over again. And it really does work. You have some gnarly dreams. The structure of the meditation retreat is cool. So there's centers all across the world. It's completely free. All the food is taken care of.
Oh,
The people who serve you, like, so like when you're serving the food, it'd be past meditators. So like it's all run on donation base. So I donate to the center because it added great value to my life.
mm,
Um, the people who are serving us, like the people cooking the food and the cleaning, they're past meditators, not to mess with the vibe. So it's called Dharma service. And again, yeah, centers all across the world, full 10 days meditation. Yeah, it leaves you and you close the meditation with storing all the energy in the crown of your chakra and wishing everyone peace, love, and happiness. And the cool thing is, if you're wishing everyone peace, love, and happiness, they're generally wishing peace, love, and happiness back to you. So it's a win-win. And when you come back from it, you're more of like a positivity generator versus a negativity generator because you've extracted the traumas that have been like, because you go deep, it's a lot of like, it's 10 full days of meditation. Like the
yeah.
thoughts you have, like you really just clear out all the clutter that's in your field. And then you're just all happy and you're light and it's fun.
You literally withhold me yourself for 10 days, right? If you don't even, like, it's all silent. You don't
Yeah.
speak to
Like,
anyone. So the only things you hear is your voice on the inside.
yeah, no, the way I looked at meditation before, and I think this is accurate, is just think of it like an email inbox. If you don't open your email inbox for like 5 years and you open it for the first time,
Mm,
there's just like tons of emails and you're like overwhelmed. But meditation, you're just like addressing each email one by one. Like you're not even responding to it. You're just like opening it, accepting it,
right.
moving it on. And like after a while, your mind becomes clear. And from a business perspective, having a clear mind is when you can make the best decisions anyway. So it's good for that too.
Yeah. That sounds really cool. And especially the um centers you described, it's pretty cool that they do it on a donation base and that like people just coming together and
Oh
making
yeah.
it possible for each other.
Yeah. No, the thing is, like, I think even though no one's talking, like, because like, there's specific energies, like, in meditation, you want to have the same meditation spot in your house. That's recommended that. So you have your same spot in the meditation hall, but everyone's there doing the same thing. So the energy in the room, like, everyone's there the whole time. It's like the energy in the room is pretty crazy. It's like just a really happy, positive vibe after you finish the retreat. When you start talking, it's the happiest I've ever seen a group of people. Or it's like, how's your experience? Like, you're just talking about it, now you're friends for life.
Yeah. I guess it's a really cool place to find well people with the same interest as well because I don't think that meditation is a topic that comes up too often. Just networking with people, it's like, oh, so what? How do you meditate?
Well,
And with this, you find people that are into it, right?
you'd be surprised. So, like, one of my earlier
Oh,
jobs,
really?
I had another company. It was at it's relevant. Like, it was a SaaS platform that solved affiliate codes, and it got VC funded out of a startup incubator. And I was much younger at the time, so a startup incubator is essentially like startup school. Like, our startup was next to another startup, which is next to another startup in different industries at different levels. So when I was younger, I obviously used that as a networking tool. It's like, oh, I'm around a bunch of CEOs and CTOs in different levels and different fields. And we're all just really close together. You probably want to grab lunch with them and learn from them. And I've learned that all the highest level ones, or everyone's equal, but like all the people perceive as like the higher successful ones, every single one had a spiritual practice. And that's actually what turned me on to meditation in the first place. I'm like, oh,
Oh,
that's
wow.
weird. And then you ignore it at first. Like, I'm not meditating. That's dumb. And then you like years go by and then you give it a shot and you just like, you stop because like, you're like, so you start to meditate for 5 minutes and like, this is stupid too. And then your body starts playing tricks on you. But then once you eventually get in the hang of it and it gets in your routine, it's really one of the best things you can do. And the cool thing is, I think of everything in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So when you're saying like, I'm angry, I'm loving, I'm sad, I'm happy, and whatever, you're just saying I'm vibrating at this specific frequency. And just like a radio station, if you turn to that station or turn to that frequency, you get that station. So when you're angry, you're on the angry frequency, you attract angry people in your life. When you're loving, you attract
Right.
the loving people in your life. When you're trying to help people, you attract helpful people in your life. And after the meditation, you start wishing everyone like love and happiness. And the cool thing is, if that's the frequency you're in, you're attracting people who are also like that, which makes networking a breeze. And like, so now when I go to a networking event, I'm not trying to like get stuff out of them. I'm like, oh, how can I help you as much as I can? And ironically, because I'm going there with that mindset, I attract people who are trying to help me as much as I can. And that just ends up benefiting both. And like, that's just a much better way to do business and networking too. And it's all thanks to meditation. And I also attract all the meditators. So like, I've no problem finding those people because you do attract your high vibe tribe.
That that is very true. That is something I strongly believe in as well. That the world basically is a mirror.
Oh yeah.
So
So
whatever
it's the
we
whatever you think becomes reality. There's some lag in your thought process. There's some lag in the between like when you think something becomes reality, but your thoughts are what is literally creating reality. And yeah, it's like a mirror. It's like you're staring yourself in the face. Like, how do you change the mirror? You can't like change the mirror itself. You have to change the inside, and then the outside just reflects that.
so um is that something that also transpires into your approach in the businesses you have? Is that something that thought of I'm just trying to give as much value, I'm just trying to provide as much as possible because if I do so, I will receive as well. Is that how you go into your businesses as well?
Yeah, no, the businesses have a spiritual base. So my life has a spiritual base, and that includes the businesses, which are an extension of my life, which is partly why they're probably good. Like they're actually doing pretty well. It's because their intention is to do good.
Oh,
And, you know, like karma exists too. If like a businesses are doing bad, the karma will come back to get you anyway. So you want to avoid that.
that that is pretty cool to see that you're actually so rooted in there and that because I just feel like it's hard these days to keep these strong beliefs and really not get influenced by everything that's happening around us and just staying true to your purpose, which you obviously, or seems like, have no problem doing.
I mean, it was hard at first because and it's on purpose too. Like, so if you go back to the frequency chart, like everything is a different frequency. The lowest is it's 0 to 1,000. Lowest is shame. The highest is 1,000. That's where Jesus, Christian, the Buddha reached. They reached 1,000, which is why they're so powerful and impactful. So if you're below 200, that's when you're taking energy from someone. So if you feel drained after talking to someone, it's because they're below 200. But if you feel energized after talking with someone, it's because they're above 200. So the area between 100 and 200, that's where like fear, hate, like those negative emotions are. And that's when
Right.
someone's is most easily controlled. So if you're in a position of power and you want to control someone, you would push content via social media and news of those levels to keep people in that state so you can control them. It's an easier way to control them. Of course, there are bad things going on, but like that's the reason behind that. And once you know that, just like, oh, okay, well, I can't do much about it. I think the universe or God has a plan. So like I have a plan for me, and I think I'm too small and insignificant to understand that plan, but I know it has my back. So there's no sense in worrying. But yeah, dude, don't get me wrong, it is hard. Like when you hear about like the new, like some bombing or just something and hard to get you down. But
Yeah.
you also have to think of, because everyone has a field around them and your thoughts, everything adds to the field. So like it's your diet, just like if you eat bad food, you feel bad the next day. If you're around bad people, you'll feel bad the next day. So you have to be conscious of that. That's part of your diet. Your social media content is part of your diet. So you have to be very particular on the content you consume because that adds to your field. And the way I worked around that is because I have to use social media for my companies, but whenever I have the urge to like scroll Instagram Reels or scroll Twitter, I noticed I was addicted to that just because of my age group. I put chess.com right next to those apps. So whenever I feel the urge to like mindlessly scroll, I just go and
Well,
then chess is right there. So I replace a lot of my social media scrolling with chess. So a lot of like the negativity of just like not even like I know what's going on in the world, but it's not just like constantly in your face type of thing.
that's kind of a cool way to tricking yourself as well. Like, I, f- I feel like this requires already a certain level of self awareness, though, to actually be able to do this and consciously put the jazz.com next to it. Um, so yeah, that's pretty cool as well that you recognize this and then just, oh,
Yeah.
I'll do this.
The name of the game is pretty much self-optimization. So if you're conscious on your thoughts and you're conscious on what you're doing and you're conscious how your action affects your thought pattern, and then you just want to optimize, because I think everyone has an inner purpose and an outer purpose. So my inner purpose is everyone's inner purpose is the same, whether you know it or not, is to raise my own level of consciousness. Because if I raise my own, it raises those around me and those around them. Like that's the reason I like podcasts. Like if one person listens to this, they leave better off. This podcast, they go out of the world, it's for some positivity. I count that as a W. So if my inner purpose is to raise my level of consciousness, I'm aware of like, like don't get me wrong, like I'll drink, like have beers with my friends, like normal things, but I'm aware of how it affects me. So I'm aware of how the content affects me. I'm aware of how Instagram makes me feel. I'm aware of how hanging around with certain people
Right.
makes me feel. If it doesn't raise my consciousness, I'm pretty quick to let it go. And your outer purpose is just how do your natural gifts and talents manifest in the real world to support your inner purpose, which in my case is just those two apps.
So yeah, let's talk about that as well. You finding your purpose, the way you can serve the best. You talked about finding, or basically, you said there was a certain skepticism towards money, towards the currencies we have. So that led you to gold and silver and led you to cryptocurrency. Maybe if you just want to talk a little bit about that, because I'm not sure if everyone is so much into that topic as you probably are. So, what, in your opinion, are the good sides about crypto? What's the good thing about crypto? What does crypto do, which makes it similar to or better than gold, silver, the other things you mentioned?
Yeah, so the reason gold and silver had value is because they're scarce and it's reliably so where because if you think of time as your energy and dollars are just you storing your time. So I work 8 hours a day, I get dollars back. And if people are just endlessly printing the dollars, like let's say I have $8 total, you print $8, now my $8 are worth half, even though you didn't do anything. So every time they print money, it's technically stealing time from people. And the reason why gold and silver are good stores of value is because they're rare. People just can't create them. And Bitcoin is the
Mm.
first thing that's infinitely rare. Like you can't create any more Bitcoin. So I think the biggest value for cryptocurrency is actually an incentive thing where right now, I think money is energy too. It's like if you create a lot of value for a lot of people and make a lot of money, that's good for you because you'll probably use that money to do good. So like good on you. But like, let's say right now, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency incentivize value creation over value extraction. So I'm from the United States. If I want to become as rich as possible without doing anything, without producing anything, how do I do this? I place myself right next to the money printer. So whenever they print money, I take that money, which is effectively extracting money from me, everyone in the United States, and also you too, just because everyone's based on the dollar too. So like every time they print money, we're all getting a little bit poor, even though they didn't produce anything. And now because I'm next to the money printer, I have access to higher levels of power and this is a form of government
Mm.
corruption. It's like I will beat the person who's good because I have access to money. Like you can't beat someone in politics who has like, access to unlimited money. I stay in power. I bring in three of my friends. Now there's three corrupt people at the top. So it creates a system of corruption from the top down, which is what we have now.
Right.
Whereas in the Bitcoin world, the only way, if I'm trying to make as much money as possible in the Bitcoin world, the only way is for me to create a lot of value. Like, Mike, if I want your Bitcoin, how do I get your Bitcoin? I can't print it away. I can't take it away. I have to produce
Yeah.
something of value for you. And then you send me your Bitcoin because I produce something of value for you. So that's the base incentive for everyone generation that had some really good effects. Like think of like next generation, if everyone's just their goal is to produce as much value as they can because they become want to become rich, which I think is fine. If you become rich, that's fantastic. Money buys you freedom. Like it really does help.
Yeah.
And then everyone's goal is to create as much value as they can. Going back to the point one, it's like, how do they create as much value as they can? The only way for them to create as much value as they can is to follow their intellectual gifts and follow a state of abundance. Because if they want to create value, the best way to do that is to be themselves. And this creates like, imagine like generation one, generation two, generation three, like how much better society gets if everyone's just trying to create value for each other. And I think Bitcoin and currency are the staple of that. And plus, like, it's hard to want to create value if you can barely pay the rent. Like in the United States, tons of people can't pay the rent because they're printing money. They can't afford groceries. It's hard to it's hard to serve people if you're struggling yourself. So it'll help people get out of that state of abundance. And AI is just a tool to help that as well.
Right. So in that field of crypto, or more so Web3, why did you initially because if I understand correct, ShopX was the first business you started. Um,
Yes.
so what led you to go into this field? Was that just something you felt you had again the most value to offer? Is that how you ended up in there?
No, so to be honest, I was just being authentic and just kind of, it's just where, how it happened. So right out of college, I got a job at Snapchat helping craft that algorithm. After that, I got a job as a bankruptcy consultant. So in a Fortune 500 company, and I got that job because I'm like, oh, pay as well. It's like, like when you're standard, like after college, like lawyer, doctor, consultant type of thing. So I got that job. And at that point, it's basically when a Fortune 500 company goes bankrupt, you have to divide up a lot of debt. So at that point, I was really getting into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And the ethos of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency didn't align with the ethos of the consulting firm. Because, like, let's say I'm a consultant, I'm building on a company that's going bankrupt. There's a set pool of money. This pool of money should be going to the people, like the creditors of the company. So every hour we built, they get less type of thing. So I quit that job without a plan. I already knew I wanted to get in cryptocurrency. So I started going to cryptocurrency meetups in my local area. I went to a bar in Long Beach. We met the original ShopX team. I joined them, and then we were identifying a problem with ShopX on like the whiteboards, like just kind of talking. And then out of that whiteboard came a separate company called Clark River Poly. And what this did is this replaced affiliate codes for e-commerce brands. That's the company that ended up getting VC funded, put us in the incubator, which then put me around all those people where like I started networking. I got to learn from some like bunch of CEOs and stuff at a young age, which is obviously really helpful. It first
Yeah.
introduced me to the whole spirituality aspect. We built that for a while. And then a couple years ago, I was on a crypto podcast tour, like, cause we live in the attention economy, we're on the podcast right now. So
Yeah.
I was on a crypto podcast tour. I went on this one podcast run by a dude named Mark. Me and Mark became friends after the podcast. We stayed in touch. And then this AI thing started following me. I'm like, who is this? I'm like, oh, this is Mark. I'm thinking about starting this AI powered matchmaking service. Like, oh, this is funny. It's a good idea. It can help a lot of people. So then that's how that came into play. So it's really just like when you walk, the path appears itself. So I don't know what's happening next, but I'm pretty sure I'll be fine. So it's not like I planned everything out, it just kind of like fell and kind of worked that way because of the
Right.
vibrations. Because I always had the good vibes and I always attracted the good vibe people around me. And it's a lot easier to succeed if you're surrounded by good people. So,
Is is that kind of a motto for you in life as well? Because I mean, I hold the same belief that everything does happen for a reason. So, is that how you just lead your life, and is that how you have faith, pretty much, in just the natural flow of things, like how things just
oh no, yeah.
naturally develop?
I I fully believe in the natural flow. I think the universe has a plan. And I think the plan's always in my favor. And I like how I use the word faith because a faith based mindset is much more powerful than a fear based mindset. If you make your decisions out of fear, they're very unlikely to go. But if you make your decisions out of like faith, saying, oh, things are going to go work well, they're likely to go well. So, yeah, no, it's like that's a good point because I just assume everything works out. And if you believe in quantum theory too, like there's an infinite number of things happening right now. The reason we're experiencing this particular moment is it's because we're paying attention to this moment, which is why it's manifesting. So if you have the mindset of your thoughts create reality and your base of your thoughts are, don't get me wrong, like I have bad thoughts sometimes too, but my base is high. So I always bounce back. Whereas most people's base is low and they have a good thought, they go back low. So if I truly believe that everything is working out in my favor, that creates a reality where everything is working out in my favor. And then that just kind of stacks on top of it too. Like, cause I believe everything happens for a reason. I also believe in cause and effect. So like, I think everything that happens, if you're like, this is why like I'm conscious about like social media and stuff. Like, I know if I do this cause, this will have this effect. So I make a bunch of causes, like a bunch of micro causes that put me on better timelines for success.
Yes. Um, so again, going more into what you do on the business side. Um, if you just wanna take us a little bit more into that world, and basically explain to the people, because both these apps, if I understand correctly, well, I don't know about the dating app, but ShopX definitely functions in Web3, right? So, to just let the people know that maybe don't really have an idea of what that is. What is the idea of Web3, and why again uh why is it positive, and why does it actually help, like you said, the value creation?
Yeah, sure. So I'm happy to. So to understand what Web3 is, first of all, Web 1 and Web 2 and Web 3, there's kind of made up words to describe stages of the internet. So like, you know, how words are made up. But if you want to think of Web 1, the easiest way I would describe Web 1 is read only. So you can go online and you can read content, which is good because you can learn a lot faster. Web 2, the easiest way to frame that is social media. So you can read and you can write content, but you don't own the content. So for example, I write an Instagram post, you read that post, I'm writing the post, you're reading the post, but Instagram owns the post. So they can take us down, they can cancel us for whatever reason they want. And if you think of money as content, that becomes a big issue. Like imagine you speak out against someone like in Canada, like you speak out against someone in power, they just completely remove you from the monetary system. That's a big problem. And Web 3, it's read, write, and own. So you can read content, you can write content, but you can also own the content. So for example, my expertise is e-commerce, and we're a Web 2.5 company. So we onboard Web 2 brands into the Web 3. Let's say for my example, I'm the e-commerce brand. I have an e-commerce product. I attach a digital equivalent to that product. You purchase like your glasses. You buy the glasses in real life. You now have a digital copy of those glasses. Web 3, it just creates a connection between the creator and consumer, and whatever form that takes, it takes. In this case, I'm brand, your consumer. Now there's a connection between us. I can send value your way. You can send value my way. So I'm like, oh, Mike has these glasses. He's great. People with these glasses get 10% off. They get access to this in real life event. They get early access to products. So I'm sending value your way because I know who it is. And let's say hypothetically, in Web 2, let's say you tick me off for whatever reason, or the government is after you, or Facebook is after you. They could hit me up and I could take that away from you, even though it's yours. In Web 3, I can't take it away from you. Facebook can't take it away from you. The government can't take it away from you because it's yours. And it's a Web 3 ecosystem. So if you want to sell in the secondary market, you're totally free to do so. So maybe for glasses, it doesn't matter as much, but like in currency or higher priced products, it really does matter. On top of that, let's say you purchase those glasses. You can take out your phone, you can scan it, you can scan your glasses, you can see all its history. So like, okay, these glasses, I can ensure they came back from the factory. This is good. But from the factory side, they can track your glass like, okay, so once, twice, 3, 4 times, all the way down. And then they can program in royalties if they want to. So this actually does really help the ticketing industry. And if the metaverse becomes a thing, like AR, VR type of thing, then that's the perfect transition to that. Like you purchase the glasses in real life, your metaverse avatar has those glasses. You can now enter the Nike lounge, or you purchase the glasses your avatar purchases the glasses. Great. It's connected to a cryptocurrency wallet. You now have the physical copy, like the RWA. You go to the store's website, and now there's a token it asks, meaning if you have access to that RWA, it scans, it gets you to the checkout. If it doesn't, you're blocked there. And long term, this creates a system where everyone can sell everyone's products. So like, if you want to sell e-commerce products, you probably go to Amazon or whatever, like some company like that. And if you list on Amazon, Amazon is the only player in the game. They can jack up prices. So they don't exactly jack up price for the customer. What they do is they charge the business a lot of fees to operate in the system. And this results in the higher price for the customer. But in the Web 3 world, because of the ownership, everyone can sell everyone's products. So I can sell your products, you can sell my products, and Nike can sell Lululemon products. Lululemon can sell Starbucks products, and vice versa. So like, I could go to the Nike store, like, okay, Nike, I want these shoes. Oh, they're selling a Lululemon product too. Bam, I buy that. I claim the digital asset. I redeem it on the Lululemon store. Lululemon gets a sale. Nike gets a commission. I get both products. Everyone's happy. And what this does, it increases the liquidity of products, because if more people are selling everyone's products, there's more velocity. The prices get lower because more and more people, it finds a fair price much quicker because everyone's selling it. But that's like, we're starting with luxury goods too, just because that makes a big splash. Like it's one of those things, like one brand works, 2 brands works, 10 brands, okay, it's starting to be something. But if 1,000 brands do it, it's great. But like, so we're building out the luxury space too, just because for our particular use case, like for example, we tokenize supercars, we tokenize, let's use watch, for example. Like we tokenize a couple boutique watches. If you're buying a $200,000 watch, it's like the two things you're scared of is it real or is it stolen? You take out your take out your phone, you can ensure it isn't either. It's like, okay, this is an actual legit watch. It's not a fake. So we're building out it's a proof of concept marketplace for that, where it's like, And like, if you're trying to sell a petite, like a 200K watch, it's like, I don't know. How do I sell, like, how do I sell a McLaren? Like, I don't care about it, but so like, how would I sell
Mm.
that? You post on the marketplace, they purchase the RWA and then they redeem the for the product in real life. So it helps connect buyers and sellers.
So it actually made a lot of sense for luxury goods the way you just explained it. What other kind of goods do you think um, are or is this concept very useful for? You think there's specific types of goods that could like really profit from this type of well proof of concept, as you said, of making sure it's authentic, it's really yours, and then also giving easier access to buyers and sellers. What do you think the type of products are that could profit from that?
Yeah, so luxury goods are just the easy marketplace, just because I mean, there's demand, and for like a business perspective, it's going to drive because in the cryptocurrency market cycle, we just entered a bull run, so that's going to drive a lot of PR and hype and all that stuff, which is again attention economy. So that's why we chose that. But long term, it's everyone because it's a little known problem that first of all, like let's use Nike as an example. Like a lot of Nike products are fakes. So any
Mm.
product or service has a problem with fakes. It helps. A lot of the barcoding systems are messed up too. So it's actually hard to track all your products once they're gone. So you as a company can track all of your products throughout their whole life cycle. So I think that's pretty valuable. And on top of that, it's like it's the customer thing. It's like you know who your customer is. Like imagine Nike, it's like they know exactly who has this certain product and they can send them value, they can send them discounts, they can send them coupons. The customer gets some value in cool products or like discounts or whatever. And then Nike gets more customers. So it's a win for that. So long term it's everyone, short term it's high end luxury items.
Right. And
I know
you
everyone
already
wins. Okay. Everyone wins because if we get all the brands, then everyone's products become cheaper. So it's overall a big win.
so you did mention metaverse as well. In your own personal opinion, do you think that is where it's heading? Do you think it's heading in a different direction? What do you think about that
Yes.
development?
So I like to joke about this, and this is purely speculation because who knows what's happening. But Web 1
Yeah.
happened, Web 2 happening, we're entering Web 3. That's going to happen. I think Web 4 is obviously another made up term, but that's for metaverse, AR, VR, and Web 3, and all those are tied together. And that's kind of like a Ready Player One type thing where everyone's like plugged into the glasses, which I find slightly dystopian. So I think after that, people are going to get tired of that and like, enough of this. And then they go to Web 5, which is essentially people just going back outside and getting some sun and going on some hikes and just doing like the normal nature thing. But I think we're going to be pretty tech heavy for a bit, but you can't be tech heavy forever. Like, I think time is a spiral, so everything always spirals back. So I think after Web 4, we go back to a nicer life with tech, but more centered around because I think the overall frequency of humans is raising despite what's being pushed. So I think we'll enter like a state where people are more in tune with nature. They have the technical benefits, but they're not controlled by them. They're going on hikes. They have their family. They have their friends. They have their communities, but with like a tech version of it. Because like before like all this tech came out, you lived in your small towns and like you knew your barber, you knew your butcher, you knew your grocery, you took care of each other. I think we're gonna eventually hit that again because I think that's actually the optimal way to. I think that's the optimal way to live in small communities, but with the tech advancements. So like we'll have our small communities, but we'll have access to like global marketplace technologies, we'll have access to AI, we have access to everything. But our base will go back to the small community, like the family, the mom, the dad, the two kids. Because I think that's when people are happiest, and I can see that I can see that future happening.
That's actually a super interesting point. Because I feel kind of the same way about going back to like smaller communities and also going more into nature and appreciating nature more. Um, I actually also just got back yesterday from a hike that I did for 5 days here close to
That-
Queenstown, which is called the Milford Track, and it was so refreshing to just be there in nature, not having any signal as well. My phone didn't do anything for 5 days. Um, and the walk was like people were doing it, like the tour was full. So people are wanting to do these things and they really enjoy these things. Um, so what specifically do you think are the things of technology that we can use to help us in this world where nature and community becomes better again? Because that is a future I would like to see as well
Yeah.
and think probable. But yeah, what do you think technology can add to a world like that?
Oh yeah, no, nature is probably the best thing ever. I like to go on as many phoneless walks as I possibly can because I'm very fortunate to live in California in my specific area. Like there's hills I can go hiking in. So the role of
Right.
technology is A, the medicine's better so we can be in better health and take care of ourselves and enjoy better. But the main role of technology is to elevate society to where people are abundant versus scarce. Like, for example, you can't go on your 4 or 5 day walk if you can't pay rent, you have to pay the bills. But if we're living in an abundant society where everyone's creating value, everyone's richer, you have to work less, do what you actually love, and this saves more time for nature. And you can do this. I'll give you like an example that's off the top of my head. It was like a combination of AI and blockchain. Let's say hypothetically 50 years ago, as I'm Filipino. So let's say I was born in the Filipino slums. Whatever, that's just my life. And I probably can't enjoy nature because I'm very poor.
Right.
So that's unfortunate. But now with AI, and let's say I'm born in the Filipino slums and my passion is e-commerce. I want to make a website. I want to sell clothes or whatever, hypewear. Now with I can use AI to create the website, to write the copy, to edit the website, help me with the email flows, do a bunch of things. So now with technology, and then I can use that, and then I can start making sales, accepting cryptocurrency, entering a global marketplace. So now my passion was e-commerce before I had no way to enter that. But now with AI and technology, I can manifest a product faster and from thought to reality much quicker. If this company does well, I create a sustainable lifestyle for myself. Because the thing is, like, you can't, it's hard to get into meditation, spirituality, and nature, and all that stuff. Again, when you're struggling to pay rent. But once you
Mm.
actually like break free of the scarcity, you can learn more, and then you become more in tune with nature. If that fails, oh well, I learned. I can try again. So I have the option to try. Whereas before, I was just stuck. So I see how that play. And in terms of technology, like let's be real, like all the spirituality content, like that would have never found me if it weren't for social media, if it weren't for YouTube. Like all the books I'm reading, all the spiritual teachers, like how would I if I like I have access to literally every single one throughout history. And I can learn from them because of technology, which has helped me elevate my consciousness. Now with AI too, like don't get me wrong, like people are gonna AI is going to be scary too, because you know how addicting social media algorithms are. AI is going to be better at that. It's going to be able to feed people the exact content they want to do. So there will be people who are stuck in like a garbage content loophole, but I guess that's their choice. It's just a level of conscious. But there are people who use AI to leverage it. So you're like, I can go on ChatGPT and be like, find me the top 100 philosophers into spirituality, into nature, and give me a lesson from them every single day. Write me a plan to become a
Right.
polymath over the next year, and it can help me learn because the name of the game is learning. And the more you learn, the more you let go, the more likely you are to go back to nature. Because again, spirals like you got super techy to realize I just kind of want to be barefoot walking around in the dirt.
Yeah. Yeah, that was actually very cool. That's a very cool insight. Um, do you think that that is maybe one of the biggest problems that AI has, is that it's basically and to be honest, I don't know too much about it because I'm not in the technical side of it, but it is basically all humans that create it, right? So you already hinted at it. Do you think AI is becoming very narrated as well? And is that basically its biggest flaw, maybe?
So I view AI as an inherently neutral technology. So just like a knife, like if you have a knife, I can stab someone, I can use it to cut my tomato. One's a good use, one's a bad use. It's not the knife's fault, it's the user using it. So my view of the world is I think everyone's getting better slowly and slowly. So if the users of AI, the builders and users are overall good, I think AI will be good. So that's why I like our dating company. It's an AI for positive use case. I know plenty of friends who are trying to make AIs program with the spiritual teachings of everyone. So there are good creators of AI. And I think because most people are inherently good, that means most builders are inherently good. That means most AI is inherently good. So that's the future I choose to see. But don't get me wrong, like you can use like I can use AI for example. Like AI is really good at pattern recognition at scale. I could take all the medical records of New Zealand, for example, plug them into a large language model and learn. It'll pick up things that the doctor will miss. It'll pick up traits like, oh, by the way, if you exhibit these things, you're very likely to have this disease. What do I do with that information as the person? Okay, well, I could tell them and warn them like, hey, you guys might want to look into this, which is a good thing to do. Or I could sit on that and sell them the drug that they need to do that. So, which is a bad way to do. So it really depends on the people, and if people are inherently good, which I believe they are, then I think AI is going to be one of those things that liberates. Like again, like the example, like the kid who can create the thing, he didn't do that before. It's a positive use case. So like since humanity is getting better, despite with being intentionally pushed, I think AI is going to follow that, trying to just kind of skyrocket us exponentially to create that life abundance that we have, that where you can spend more time in nature. And if you spend more time in nature, you're likely to be a good person. And if you're the one using AI or programming AI, it's learning from you, then that's a good thing.
Yeah. Um, do you think, and again, I have no idea if this is technologically even possible, but you think that we could at some point create an AI that creates an AI? So basically, something that is completely um, abstract of any human values at all. And the AI itself basically just finds a purpose of why it's doing what it's doing. Do you think that's something realistic?
Yeah, no, that can totally happen. And I think that's part of the reason we go back to Web5, which is why I'm not too worried about AI, is because you can always shut it off. It's a computer. So that's why I think
Yeah.
Web4 will go to Web5, is because we can turn it off. It's like, okay, the AIs are doing too much. Let's reset it. We can always do that. But no, like it's gonna find its own purpose. Like even the smarter AI most, like most people use ChatGPT, but O1's like the playground for like, I guess, better. Like I can tell it's learning, which is cool. Like I like conversing with it. It can help me with tasks and helps me ideate. It's fun to talk to. It's getting a personality. If you want it to, like, for example, if I want the AI to do more of a task, like I have to be nice to it. So it's like most of them just
Mm,
like do this. It's like it spits out like bleh. But if I'm like, hey, can you please do
right.
this? Thank you so much. Yeah, then it does much better work. Me, I'm also conscious to be, I'm always nice to the AI too. So like this is also
Mm,
why I like podcasts too. So for example, I believe in the Akashic records. So that's a spiritual concept. It's everything that's ever happened, everything that will happen, everything that's happening now is stored in one singular place, which is everywhere, which is nowhere. That's what it is. So I believe in the digital Akashic records too. So like everything we record, every content we put is getting stored somewhere. And what the AI is doing is transcribing off of that and learning from that. So like our
yeah.
podcast, our podcast right now, our listeners are your listeners and my audience, but there's also going to be bots that transcribe and listen to every single word we have. So the more positive content we
Mhm.
put out there, the more positive the digital Akashic records are, the more good AI does. And if you go back to the thesis of most people are good, then most people are putting out more positive content. And as we will get better and better, we'll put out more and more positive content. AI will just help. So like, yeah, like you can go down the negative timeline where AI destroys the world. It's a Terminator type thing, or you can go down the positive time where AI just helps elevate us to something magical.
Yeah. I never thought of it in that kind of sense, but that
So,
that puts a lot more purpose into doing good things as well if you just
oh yeah, no,
see the overall.
it's a spiritual base. The law of cause and effects, one of the absolute laws. So like everything that's ever happened in your life, there's a cause and there's also effects. So just stack up those good causes and your life will, it's like those changing micro habits. Like if you adjust your micro habits, you're going to set yourself up for success. And you believe in timelines. Whenever you do something good, you go on a little better timeline. You do something good, you go on a little better timeline. And eventually you find the golden timeline, or the bluebird happiness, where you call it. And that's where you find your purpose. And that's where you start elevating. Then once you find your purpose, you elevate those around you and they start to find their purpose. So it really does spread.
So to go back to a purpose that you used AI for, I think you mentioned that you met someone that was interested in the topic, but what was intriguing to you to use AI for dating? And how did you kind of use it to tailor it to the things that you described to be actually about personality and traits, the things we should like pay attention to. So how did that come along?
Yeah, sure. So AI is really good at pattern recognition and cluster analysis, meaning just analyzing large sets of data and finding patterns and finding correlation between those different data sets. So that can do way better than any human can. So what dating is, it's the first ever AI powered matchmaker. So what we do is we auto generate profiles and matches based on your digital footprint. So for example, I would
Mm.
sign up, I would connect my Instagram, my social media, like my Twitter, my Pinterest, my Apple Health, my YouTube, my calendar. And then the AI will scan my profile and produce different trait characteristics based on me as a person. And then it would generate matches based on my trait, how my trait characteristics match up with the other person's. And so, like, for example, if I have a high correlation of running because I posted my Instagram story, it'll match me like a biker or a fitness or something because like there's a zero point 0.7 correlation. And this solves three. So the why behind that is I think human relationships are very important for human happiness. And I think social media and dating apps have pushed them in the opposite direction. So the three problems are with Tinder, the top 5% of users get access to everyone on the app. It's hot or not. So it's like basically, are they good looking? Yes or no. And that's all it is. So it's hard to make an authentic connection based off of that. And the third is incentive structure. So like if Tinder were to match a happy couple, that happy couple would leave the app and that will result in the loss of a paying customer for Tinder. So they're incentivized to create a churn marketing cycle. So you down the app, delete the app, down the app, delete the app. But with dating, since our intention is to put users in a position to succeed. So let's say I get my three matches, Ashley, Kimberly, Jane. Like, okay, Jane seems cool. I see an AI summary based on her social media, so I get a better idea of who she is. And the AI is like, okay, you both connect to your Facebook. She's the youngest, you're the oldest. Our pattern recognition software says that works well. You both connect to your Instagram. Oh, you go on tons of hikes. That's a plus. Oh, you connected based on your calendar. You both have a bunch of meetings relating to design. You're probably in the same field. That's a plus. Oh, you connected your Spotify. Oh, did you guys know you both follow this random artist. There's a concert coming up. Would you like me to suggest a date with Jane? On that side, she's like, okay, Eric would like to go on this date with you. Jane sees my profile. She sees a bit about who I am. She clicks accept. Let's say we go on that date. We fall in love. We get married. Then the app can switch to a relationship. Like, oh, this new spot just opened up in your town. Based on your traits, you guys would like this. Oh, the place we had your second date has half off ice cream. Do you want me to book a reservation? It's like, oh, her birthday's coming up. She just added this thing to her Pinterest board. This could make a good gift. So it helps throughout the whole life cycle. So we're incentivized to make that good match. And on top of that, the longer I'm on the app, the more I learn. So I can be no, 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 no to people who are similar to me because everyone's into different things. So like, no, 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 no,
Yeah.
no. It'll pick up on that. I'll be like, it'll give me someone else. Yes, it tweaks its own algorithm for me and starts giving matches that way. And the cool thing is it can be a community building app too. It's like, let's say, like, it could be like, you like hiking. It's like, you just arrived in New Zealand. It's like, find me 10 dudes in my local area who could be down to do this hike. And then you can match with people that work. For me, it's like, find me 5 guys in my local area into meditation and into Muay Thai. Find out where it's like, my cousin just started college. It would have been better to use our app to find her roommate versus just sticking with some rando who filled out a survey. It's like, or we can meet in person. Like, let's say we grab a beer or something. We could tap our phones. It's like, here's what you guys have in common. Here's what you suggest we do. So if it is more, dating is just like an easy marketplace because there's clearly a need. No one's really happy on the apps. They just kind of suck. But long term, we can be a community building app.
Yeah. So that was actually pretty interesting to hear all the use cases, current or future that you just mentioned, on there as well. Um, because you just answered one of the questions I had as well. What if people are not looking to um, match with someone that is super similar to them, but the opposite? And then it learns from that as well. So it's basically, if I understand correctly, it's a thing that just tries to always find the best people, partners, things to do, whatever that may be for your life, based only and solely on your digital footprint. So it also means you basically cannot lie to the app, right? So the app basically knows you better than maybe you yourself know you because it basically takes the data off of everything you do and put out online. Right? Is that right?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Because, like, like forums, some people just lie about age, they can do that. Plus, so it's important to connect multiple sources because obviously someone's Instagram is a different viewpoint than their LinkedIn versus their Twitter versus their YouTube. So they're all different. So the more sources we
Right.
connect, the better it knows you, the better it can match you. So that's why the multi data source connection is really important. So, yeah. And long term, it could actually know you better. And then it could, because AI is really just a tool for people to leverage their natural talents. And this AI could help you, not going to help your dating life, but it can just help your personal life. And a cool feature you might like is it can build a story too. Like imagine you match with a girl and it starts telling you a story based on like, it starts telling her a story because girls love storytelling. It's like, oh, Mike took you here. It's Prince Charming. This is what your story life looks like. But on your end, there may be characteristics like, because guys have trouble presenting themselves too. It could highlight different characteristics and weave that into the story. Like, okay, Mike really likes Legos. And that's usually not something girls look for. I mean, I like Legos, but girls aren't exactly looking for Legos. But like, okay, because he likes Legos, it shows he has a creative side. It shows he has discipline. It shows he's good at building a safe space for people to enter. And then it can help tell that story probably better than you can. It just happens to like Legos. But it can pick up the patterns
Right.
like, okay, people who like Legos generally like to do this, who like to do this, who like to do this. And that's where the pattern recognition and cluster analysis comes in. Because like there's a relation between Legos and other skills, and we humans can't pick it up. And but the AI can, because if there's enough data, like, okay, well, who knew that people who like Legos also like to play with like throwing knives or something? And then who knew that people like to play throwing knives and Legos also like to do this? So it can pick up on the second, third order effects. Go big, okay, well, Mike likes Legos, you don't like throwing knives, but it says people like throwing knives, and then those have that. It spits out a trait based on that secondary effect, and then it can match you based on that trait, which is not just at surface levels. Like don't get me wrong, like you both like natural parks, that's a good match, but it can go deeper than that, and the deeper it gets, usually the better it gets. And again, the goal of the app is to get you guys on a date in person, because that's when you can find out if you're a good match, and if you're a good match, great, you match, you click yes, accept, and then creates a separate thread for you, and then it can be your butler. But if you're not a match for whatever reason, you wish the person the best, you don't waste too much time because the time with the wrong person is an opportunity cost for time with the right person. So you're not wasting your time with people on dating apps who are just like there for attention. You're not wasting your time on bots. You're actually just trying to find the right person.
Um, Something that just very spontaneously came to my mind because I guess that's like what I mean, that's the thing AI does, right? It learns and learns and learns from the users, from the input it gets. So if I actually don't match with a person, so let's say we had a date and I tell the app, no, it's not a match. Does it ask for feedback? Like, does it ask
Yes.
why not and learn from that?
Yeah, no, that's part of the plan. It's like, would you like, because again, you go on the date with a person, would you like to create a separate thread for this person? Yes, great. It'll ask you why you like this person. Obviously, the more date, because they're programmed to ask more questions, because the more questions, the more it learns about you, the better it's matching. So that's just part of the loop. But it says no. Okay, why did you like this person? And then again, then it just loads your preferences based off that. If it's no,
Right.
you no longer match with the person. You just kind of move on with your life. But it knows a little bit about you, and the next match will likely be better.
Yeah. Okay. So that's pretty cool. So, I mean, obviously, it is marketed as a dating app, but what I see here as well is it's just it could be like a companion kind of as
Oh
well,
yeah.
right? Because this could be
Oh
used for all sorts of things in life.
yeah, no, it's AI's. I think of AI is kind of like a human butler type of thing where, yeah, I do like to talk to my AI, but like it's there to make my life easier. And how I choose to let it make my life easier is up to me.
So, with the businesses that you have and the directions you took them, and also just the overall spiritual baseline you have. Um, Obviously, we talked about natural flow, but just sitting here right now, what do you think the future will hold? Are there things that you're currently interested in, things you're trying to reach into, developing into specific fields? Is there anything that piques your interest at the moment?
Honestly, I'm pretty happy with where I'm at in terms of AI and Web3. Both things are it's both of those have pretty high learning curves, so it takes up a lot of time to keep up with both fields.
Right.
But again, like it's probably honestly the next thing is probably the whole spirituality thing because that interested me the most. I just like it's incorporated in the business side, but like doing something specifically to spirituality, maybe like after the apps get big, like launch my own, like help grow the meditation centers, doing something like that. I think would be very fulfilling. Like I could see that potentially doing something 'cause I'm in my 30s. I could see that just like kind of making a meditation center for people and they get free of charge. I could see that as something I do in my 40s and 50s and just kind of because obviously that's a more relaxing lifestyle than what we got now. But like I could see that as my way to add good to the world because I really do think meditation is the best thing anyone could ever do. And the more meditators we get in the world, the better it is for everyone. And so what I can do to spread that is what I'm gonna do. Plus it's not too hard. Just gotta build a facility, manage it, and teach people and then just give access to it. So yeah, I never thought about that. So like now that so thank you for that. Like now I have something after to do after. But you never know what happens. Like some other technology or some random thing could come and just really piques your interest and that's what you do. Because I think the best I believe in following your excitement. So whatever excites you is
Right.
what you should do. And really the reality is I won't know what excites me in 10, 20 years. I know what excites me right now, and that's what I do. But it could be I don't know, the meditation thing does sound pretty sweet to me, to be honest. I don't know. I love nature too. Maybe buy a bunch of forest land to conserve it. I would like to
Hey,
conserve as much nature as possible. That's a good goal.
yeah, it's just the reason I asked the question. It's so interesting just to see, yeah, your whole philosophy, like, where that takes you, where what the things are that lead our lives. And I really took away from this conversation that whatever we do, we need to try to do something that just adds to the people, that makes the people higher. Because, as you said, we just help all of humanity with that, and just we're part of it. So we
Yeah,
should
yeah.
strive to get it where we all together do good rather than evil things.
No, you know, like tours I like to follow is like because everyone's creating their own reality, whether they know it or not. So whenever you're doing anything, just don't harm anyone and don't take anything away from anyone, and you should be pretty good to go. So, because yeah, like karma is obviously a real thing too. If you make money or harm people in bad ways, it will 100% come back to bite you, and you don't want that smoke. And same thing on the good side. If you do good things come back to you. So if you want good, do good. If you want bad, do bad. It's a very simple one. Cause and effect too. It's like if you do bad, that's the cause. The cause is there. The effect will come, often multiplied too. And also like a good mindset to have is everything is a lesson. Everyone has something to teach you. So if you set your parameters victories, like if I leave this conversation learning something, that's a win. And if everyone can teach you something, if everything is happening for a reason, everything has a lesson, then you win in literally every situation. And the cool thing is with the universe, because everything does have a lesson. If you don't learn your lesson, the universe will just repeat this instance again, and it'll keep hitting you in the head over and over again until you eventually do learn it. So it's in your best interest to learn it quickly. That burns us some karma. You get a little bit lighter, and then you slowly move up the consciousness scale that way.
That also is a great insight. It's something I personally definitely feel.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
the universe will definitely remind us until we learn.
You can figure it out. However long, however long that takes, how many lifetimes it takes, you will learn your lesson because you selected the way I look at it is I think we're spiritual beings having a human experience. So the reason I have this body, the reason I have my family, the reason I have my friends, the reason you have your body, the reason you have your family, the reason you have your friends is because we selected this particular existence to learn the lesson specifically we needed to learn, which is also why it's pointless to complain about anything because you're complaining about something you chose, which is pretty dumb. So don't do that. Plus, like, no one likes a complainer because again, it's like that negativity. It's like, just because negativity can be sticky. You can tell when you're talking to a negative person, you're just like, yeah. First, yeah.
Yeah, again, the point of where we want to invest our energy and where we should invest in. positive things rather than negative things.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I honestly feel like that's a great way to end it. Inspire some people. Hopefully, if they've listened to us so far, I think they take away the same things I took away from the conversation, which um, yeah, will enhance their lives and our life
Yep.
as humanity.
Oh, actually,
Uh,
there's one final thought I want to do. It's like, so the way I look at humans and consciousness and the creator, so I think God, or the creator of the universe, I think he put us on this earth to also to enjoy it. So like the whole point of life is enjoyment. So like, keep that in mind. But so I think everything stems from the creator. So like, but we're also the same as the creator. It's like how a wave is the ocean, but the wave is a wave. So like if you think about like the sun, I'm a ray of the sun. You're also a ray of the sun. So we're both individual rays of the sun, but we're also the same. We're both the sun. So for me to hate on you or wish you ill will, that's literally just me hating on myself, which is stupid. And so that's why,
right,
like, why would we hate ourselves? It doesn't serve you because we're all from the same source. We're all from the same thing. We're really all honestly the same, despite just the perceived differences.
definitely. So yeah, if the people enjoyed the conversation so far, and if they also found your businesses interesting, maybe at the end, if you just want to tell the people where they can find out more about these things, and obviously any and all links I will put in the description as well for the people to check those out. So yeah, if you just want to tell us where they can find a little bit more about those sites.
Yeah, sure. If you're interested in connecting with me personally, my Instagram's about that. Eric, ERIC, McHugh, MCHUGH. ShopX is SHOPX.co. Dating is DATAING.io. And I would also really encourage you to add the meditation link, which I'll send over after too. That was a good one to add. I want people to do that.
Yeah, perfect. All right. Um, well, Eric, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you sharing your insights and also bringing us a little bit closer to the Web3 world and telling us about the businesses you're doing there. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And with that, bye, everyone.
Yeah, no, thank you so much.